All right, if you are so smart, why aren't you rich yet? This is a question that's probably crossed your mind if you used to be like the gifted kid, like one of the smart kids in high school, but now you find yourself at a later point in life, whether that be just like finishing up high school, in college, starting your first job, or now deep into your first job, and you're like, wait, I thought I was like one of the smart people. I thought I was gonna be successful, but I'm not. But yet you look around on social media and you see kids that are younger than you and what you perceive to be dumber than you making millions of dollars. The thing is, like, there's lots of reasons why I believe like the smart kids earlier on in life don't usually go on to be the super successful ones. And I'm going to break it down all in this video. I'm saying this as somebody that I guess used to be like that valedictorian smart person, just inherently did well in school, and now owns a business that does me millions of dollars. And I realized like I had to break lots of those habits I built early on from being one of those smart kids to get to the point where I am now. So let's get into it. I'm going to go through all the reasons why, if you think you're so smart, why aren't you rich? The first one is that you're not as smart as you think you are. This is something that's just common. Like, I feel like people just have an inflated sense of their intelligence, most people in general. But, like, if you're truly intelligent, and I'm not saying like super genius, but just like, you have like, I don't know, like you're a smart person in general, it'll just be abundantly obvious, like, from when you're young. Things just come easily to you. You never really have to try that hard in school because public school is honestly a joke if you're like really smart. And you honestly should just have been able to breeze through all these things. I see lots of people cope here and say like, "Oh, well, I just don't test well, or I'm street smart." That's bullshit. Intelligence is intelligence, and if you have it, you have it. And if you do, that's great. That's a talent you can use on your path to being successful. And if you don't, that's fine too. A lot of the times it's a fucking hindrance and people don't use it at all. And you don't need it to be rich or successful. I promise you. All right. But let's say you actually are a smart kid. Let's go through like your typical journey as like a young kid or somebody going through high school. Since most things come easy, you fundamentally never have to work hard or persevere to get good at something. Like, just give you an example. Like, the first time somebody gave you like a multiplication table and told you to fill it out, you probably do it super quick, faster than the other kids. No hard work, just talent. Now compare that to the kid next to you who maybe had to go home, practice for 2 hours, practice for 2 hours. In his mind, it's now ingrained, okay, if I want to get good at something, I have to put in work, I have to put in effort, and I'm probably going to suck at it at first. And the thing is that by being this talented, you'll get praise from teachers, your peers, your parents for doing basically nothing, just being you. Like you're born with those genetics of intelligence and your brain is just wired that way. And like slowly, because obviously when you're a kid, your life revolves around school, you just begin to like form this identity and tie it to yourself of being the smart person, the smart kid in your small environment of like an elementary school, a middle school, a high school, whatever it may be. And so these are the habits you just form early on. And these are terrible because what this will do later on in life is just ingrain you with a fear of failure and rejection since you've never had to face it before. Like just go on to like the multiplication table. Like, since most things came easily to you, next time something doesn't come easily, let's say who knows where that point is. Maybe like it's when you go to start a business. Maybe it's like later on in college when you're taking like an advanced class with other kids that are also very intelligent. Since it's not going to come easy, now you're like, what the fuck do I do? I've never had to deal with this before. When these other kids, since like probably an earlier age, knew that, okay, I have to put in work, I have to study, I have to do this, do that. That's never really come to you. So all of a sudden you're like, what the fuck do I do? Since you have no work ethic and just no ability or skill to like deal with failure. Similarly, this also comes with risk, because risk is just there's a high chance of failure if you take any sort of risk in your life. So then you just play everything so safe, whether that be like the job that you go for, socially, and things like that. All right, the next thing I see is that, and I was probably guilty of this too, is that you just form these weird identity issues of your own self-worth, and it can really fuck you up. Because the reality is, like, let's say you were the smartest kid in elementary school, high school, wherever, like, let's say even if you went to a big school, it's what, it's a high school of like 5,000 kids. Like you're the smartest in 5,000, like cool. But as soon as you go to like a bigger place, whether it be like college, university, a bigger company, I guarantee you, there's gonna be somebody smarter than you. When so, or like maybe at that point, you go to such an elite university and elite place that now you're just the fucking average. You're not even one of the smart ones. You're just the fucking average. So then, like, you have this weird identity issue where you don't know how to define yourself anymore because you realize that there's tons of people like you that are also capable of being intelligent and do lots of things just as good, if not better, as you can. And the other thing is like I see this happen before. People begin to like cope with their own failures by viewing their intelligence as like they're a tortured fucking genius. Like, oh, I'm just so smart, so like I can't, I'm struggling with this or I can't do this, I like whatever. And it's just so that's such a big cope of your own personal failures. And the next thing is because you're not used to receiving criticism because you excelled at most things in your life, you become highly sensitive to it when in reality it's really just people in most cases trying to help you or trying to help you improve and point out things that will just make you better. So then you don't really know how to respond to it or take it well. And like at that point, most other kids your age have probably developed the skill of like, oh, somebody said I should improve on this. It's just something to work on and do better. Okay, now I'm gonna tie this all into like why this sucks for getting rich. Like I want you to understand, like, if you think competing in high school to be valedictorian or to like get the highest grades or the highest SAT score, or even going to college and think like competing to be summa cum laude or get the highest GPA, or even within a corporation of like being the, I don't know, the highest earning lawyer, salesperson, best performing engineer, whatever the case may be, that's real competition. And you're going to run into some really intelligent people. But I promise you, it's nothing compared to the level of competition that you will see if you try to start a business. Because, like, at the end of the day, the greatest game in the world, or the most competitive game in the world, whatever you want to call it, is the game of business because that's where real money is made. Like, it's where billions of dollars are literally made. So you're competing against people that not only are they probably way smarter than you, they're way more talented in other areas as well, and they've mastered way more things. And you're just gonna have to be okay with that. Like, I fucking suck compared to some of these people, and that's fine because if you're just getting into business, that's normal, and you're not gonna have to outcompete the Mark Zuckerbergs, the Elon Musk of the world to get fucking rich. But like, just being comfortable with that, knowing that there's people better than you out there. The other thing why it sucks to getting rich is because if you look at the story of anybody successful, like me included, or even if you want to go bigger, Hormozy, any of these guys that have made it in business, the most common thing you will see is that a repeated history of failure. They started several businesses, they didn't work out. They took lots of risks, they probably didn't work out. They had extreme lows, right? So, like, if you're somebody that has no capacity to take a risk, to fail at something, to understand that you're probably going to suck at something, then you're never going to succeed in business because you're never going to learn. And this also ties into the risk aspect. I feel like intelligent people, like lots of times they overthink some things, and just because they're not used to it, they play things extremely safe. And with business, that's the opposite of what you need to do. You need to want to take a big fucking risk if you're going to make something. Like if you want to be an entrepreneur that makes millions of dollars a year, hundreds of thousands per month, well, you're going to need to take a risk. You're not going to get there by playing the safe route of whatever you think that is for your life. So if you're a smart person, or like let's say you were talented in high school, or even good at college and just have a high IQ, whatever you want to call it, I want you to understand that that is a an asset. And intelligence is extremely useful when if you're trying to get rich, because if you can get past that initial like just fear of failure and just get comfortable sucking with things at first, you'll be able to learn things and process things so much faster than the people you're competing against because you have that natural like just intelligence advantage, and you'll be able to make progress so much faster. So I know it's frustrating and you kind of want to protect your ego because you see people that are richer than you online and you think, oh, well, they're scamming, they're doing this, they're doing that. Yeah, maybe some of them are, but I promise you that there's people dumber than you, younger than you that are way more successful because no other reason than they're willing to stick through some things of bullshit, failures, and just grind it out and learn. But if you're truly intelligent and and stick to it, I promise you, you can catch up and lap them so much quicker if you develop that level, the same level of discipline and work ethic as the people you're competing against. Because your intelligence is an advantage. You just need to start actually fucking using it, not playing it so safe and just being scared.